From high atop this mountaintop of Mount Manitoba, it's How the Hell Did This Go #1? With myself, Kirk Buchner, the owner, the operator of NotInHallOfFame.com, and of course, the sister sites. Check those out. The Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hey, and go vote on the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, because no one came up with this. So I trademarked it. It's mine. But you can vote. NotInHallOfFame.com/USA. And if you do that, will it light up your life? I don't know. Well, let's ask.
Probably more than this song does.
Possibly. So I put it to you, Andrea Tessmann, Brad Nelson. I'm really not sorry.
You should be sorry. You should be sorry and ashamed.
I should be.
You should be. You put yourself through this too.
No, I really didn't, because I didn't listen to this song again. I remember I lived it. When I was a kid, every fucking day from like when I was like would have been 7 to 9, I would hear the song probably twice a day. So no, I didn't have to research this song. I mean, I did, but not by listening to it. I have to admit, when I picked it last week, I was prepared just to go in and just talk about trying to figure out how this went #1. And then a far more interesting story, and we're still going to talk about how it got to #1 is, but we've got a real creep to talk about. And no, kids, it's not Debbie Boone.
I did not know this either. And I was like, oh my God, this went dark real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't pick it knowing that. So another thing I didn't know was that there was a movie with the same name. I don't remember that at all. I think even if I did remember it, I probably would have misremembered it, thinking that it came out after trying to capitalize on the popularity of that song. No.
Nope, the way around.
So let's look at the guy who gave us "You Light Up Your Life." Wow. So here's a guy named Joseph Brooks that I'd never heard of prior to this.
Joseph Kaplan originally.
Joseph Kaplan? Did he change?
Changed his name to Joseph Brooks.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Either way, he should have changed it to piece of shit.
Well, I mean, it's synonymous. If you look up piece of shit in the dictionary, there's actually an 8x10 of Joseph Kaplan.
And there should be. So this is the guy, and not because he gave us this song.
So let's start with him, and we'll progress to why he's a piece of shit. But I think we should start with, so he decided that he wrote this movie and song that he self-funded.
But before that, though, he was successful he was a budding star in that realm. So like he had written a lot of success. Well, he'd written a lot of success. He was writing some jingles. He was doing well.
Yeah, he first struck out as a musician on his own with a band and what have you. Failed at that.
He was doing well with the jingles and that sort of thing. And this was an era where jingles were like a big thing.
Absolutely. I mean, so like he had done well enough that he was able to get somebody to help him finance a movie that he wrote. So well enough, called "You Light Up My Life." Now, I didn't watch this film. I asked Brad before we went on if he did, and the answer was no.
No, I watched the trailer. That's all I'm going to get through. It looks like a sappy 70s rom-com.
Which, from what I read about it,
even a rom-com. I think it's sappy romance.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just this girl who wants to become a star, and that song is the one that made her a star.
So like A Star Is Born, except with way more suck.
More or less, from what it was, and depending on what I read, either this was successful or not, or unsuccessful. Either way, it didn't make money. It did star Didi Cohn, who most people will remember as, well, you would remember, you musical geeks, as Frenchie from the original Grease.
That was the only redeeming quality I found in this movie.
Didi Cohn cannot sing, so
no,
they had a studio jingle musician.
Well, and let's get to her. So Joseph hired what's her name?
Her name was Katie Sizik.
Sizik, yeah, but yeah, from Ukraine.
But born here.
Born here? Okay, I thought because she did so well in Ukrainian music. So
she's of Ukrainian descent.
Okay, she is. Okay, yeah. She is born in Queens. I see. Okay, so I got that wrong. So that's obviously where they knew each other from. I guess the jingle circuit. But I mean, she like
there's a jingle circuit.
Why not? If there was a
So
board,
she'd done work for him before.
yeah. So he convinces her to sing this song. And if you listen to it, and that's the only thing I did do, I did listen to the original version, which is virtually indistinguishable from Debbie Boone's, which is kind
100%.
of
Their voices sound almost completely.
There's a reason for that, though.
Sure.
The reason for that is that what's his face?
Joseph Brooks.
Brooks didn't want to pay her, so instead of paying her for the rights, she was never credited on the movie. She sued later and did get some royalties, but she was never credited.
No.
And because he's a cheap son of a bitch, he didn't want to pay her, so he got another artist to sing exactly like he found someone who would sound like her and sing it in exactly the same manner that she sung. And it's probably why there's some strained notes here and there, and it's not perfect because it's not her version. She is literally just copycatting someone else with the same.
It was literally karaoke because they didn't change anything. They didn't hire a studio musician.
No, because the studio musicians, when they recorded the studio musicians, they caught some of the vocal track as well. Mm-hmm. So that's why he needed someone that could actually sing exactly the same, so it would cover up the bits of the vocal track from the original recording.
Yeah, so he's a bit of a slimy one.
Basically, cheap ass son of a bitch.
And here's the other thing too. That's not necessarily why we're shitting on him. Before there was Me Too, there was this guy.
Okay, so part of the reason he apparently didn't want to pay the original artist was because he had hit on her, and when she turned him down, he hadn't refused to have anything else to do with her, and he didn't want to pay her for work done, which is completely believable going into what you are about to talk about.
Yes, so it was 2009 or 2011, I don't remember which, and I could care less to pinpoint the date. But either way, he was charged with, was it 11? I believe 11 counts of
casting couch shenanigans.
Yes, I think that's sort of what they called it.
Are you sure it was 11? Because I thought it was 93.
Was it 93?
There's a slight difference in those two numbers. I think we need some clarification here.
I'm gonna look this up.
Bad. Not 93. Okay. Either way, he did this a lot and got away with it a lot for many years, including trying to do this with the original singer. So this, and I guess my favorite part of this is 2 days after he got sentenced, he killed himself rather than go to jail.
Yeah,
and I generally don't wish death on people, but I didn't mind reading that end.
Folks like that don't deserve any better.
No,
they deserve a lot worse.
So he was a coward at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he preyed on people he could take advantage of.
What gets me is this guy wasn't even like amazing at what he did. He wasn't top of the charts. He wasn't like a great filmmaker or an amazing musician or anything like that. Yet he still had a bunch of people who were desperate enough to be famous to get up on the casting couch.
And I'm sure also too, it's like, hey, I wrote the biggest hit of the 1970s, which this was.
It really was. It shouldn't have been.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it was.
He was indicted in 2009 for 91 counts of rape, sexual abuse, criminal sexual act, assault, and other charges.
Jeez, man.
91.
And that's just the ones who came forward.
So he would put out classified ads looking for aspiring young actresses and singers and then prey on them.
And because of his success, which was, again, I wrote the biggest song of the 70s. He had other producer hits. I mean, like he was a successful person, and he could probably get people places. He
had a female assistant that was charged with helping him. This is sounding very reminiscent of.
I missed, yeah.
So are we gonna say that Joseph Brooks didn't kill himself either?
No, I'm pretty sure Joseph Brooks killed himself, but
Wait a minute. Let's look back. Did he donate to the Democratic Party?
So the weird thing was, and I was talking to Kirk about this before the show, is that Kirk gives us this song, and I immediately hated him more after I heard the title of the song than I had before. Well, I mean, it's possible. You still have a lot of going on here, but you're moving toward the dark side. So anyway, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to talk about this song. We're going to slag this song. It's going to be garbage, and we're going to move on. And then, like I was saying to Kirk before the show started, there was a lot more meat on this bone than I thought there would be. Like a lot more. I mean, moving from Katie Sizik to Debbie Boone, doing it there.
Who was, I believe, the niece of Rosemary Clooney?
Yes, George Clooney is related by marriage to
they're like cousins.
Her aunt married. No,
what does this have to do with Debbie Boone?
Debbie Boone is related to George Clooney
by marriage.
Debbie Boone, for 1978 purposes, is the daughter of Pat Boone.
100%, but
which I don't think that actually opened one lick of a door here.
No, because Pat Boone's last hit was in 1960, 61, something like that.
But it was still Pat Boone.
And nobody cared about Pat Boone anymore.
Oh, okay, but maybe part of this audience did. Because now we get this monster hit, which it's we covered quite a few already. 70 songs that are just
Yeah, this is another one. This is another like vanilla ice cream that's room temperature and doesn't even have that much of a vanilla taste anymore.
It's been sitting out of the fridge. It's sitting out for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yes, it is about as, and again, I recognize that we're three white people talking about this, but it's about as white as you get.
Oh,
it's like Bible Belt, Middle America.
Mm-hmm.
And there you have it. So you have the daughter of a beloved icon that then people our age might have remembered and some of them liked. Now, Joseph Brooks wrote this as a love song. Debbie Boone sang it about God, but it worked for both. Because here's my thing on this. Like, I was trying to think, like, how did this become so big and then nobody remembers it? This is like on no compilations when they used to put out 70s compilations. You don't hear it in a grocery store. You hear it nowhere, not in an elevator.
Literally the biggest hit of the 70s, and you hear it nowhere.
Nowhere. It died. I may A, because it wasn't very good. B, because the people who really liked it got into other shit. So you've got your demographic of maybe moms who sort of like this, and young girls who were trying to say, "Oh, that's about the boy I liked." And
romantic.
To a lot of them, it was. How many weddings was that played in? Probably in 79, 80.
Probably even through the early 80s. It was probably the first song for a lot of couples.
Absolutely.
Doing their awkward can't dance dance.
I know that dance.
As do I. So that to me is probably what I think was a big part of that. So you've got this, like before anyone was doing karaoke, I remember in school talent shows, I probably heard that another 5 times from people trying to sing that when I would have been 8 or 9 or whatever, because that's something that they liked. Music, the actual musicians in the world may not be 50-50 in terms of male, female, but the buying public is.
Well, and going through this one here as well, it's been resurrected. Leanne Rimes did it in the late 90s.
Was that a hit though?
I don't believe that it was a hit.
I don't know. Whitney covered it too. I had no idea.
It was, Whitney put it on her album. Again, not a hit, but
The Simpsons covered it, so obviously it's well known in the zeitgeist.
But the idea of
she really must have loved that guy.
I went and did I listened to as much of the Leanne Rimes version as I could, because it got real twangy, and any music that inspires, incest and shagging animals, I'm not a big fan of.
What?
He's talking about country music because he hates
like country
music.
Okay, I didn't know.
His hatred for country music is on par with your hatred for musicals.
Fair. Okay. Well, I mean, like, there are a lot of country songs about drinking. I can get into that.
Would you consider your hatred for musicals to be deep and seething?
No.
Were you subjected to a year of nothing but musicals?
No, and I guess you were. So that's probably
I was a country bar DJ for a year, so there's a lot of like
you subjected yourself to that being a country bar DJ.
I subjected myself to a paycheck. It just
or did you just want to watch the topless girls on the bull?
We didn't have a bull at the bars that I worked at.
Well, that's your fault.
Sad. Yeah, I picked the wrong place to work, apparently.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy. So I got another theory here too. Debbie Boone, like when I gave you the shit sandwich of Mary McGregor, between two lovers, we've got another looking girl.
For a time, not so bad.
Okay, but one term I never understood was the girl next door. Usually the girl next door never looks like what we talk about when we say the girl next door.
Never what you grew up with.
I've had neighbors, not those neighbors.
Yeah, and Andrea can tell you about the old man next door. But anyway,
he was kind of creepy.
Kind of was.
He has a cute dog, though.
How is that what he calls it?
Oh, geez.
Okay, but I think a lot of
I'm talking about you and your dog.
You're the creepy old man, Kirk.
Not next to Andrea. I'm not. Except
you were.
You literally lived next door to me.
I did not live next door to you. There was somebody in between.
We lived close enough that our dogs on their long leashes got wrapped up together regularly.
The creepy old man next door. Hold on, I'm having a moment here.
If the wife beater fits.
I never worn a.
I never considered you the creepy old man next door. There were some weird, creepy neighbors around there, for sure.
For another time.
Yes, story for another time.
So this one actually gets knocked out of the charts by the Bee Gees. How deep is your love?
I got more in Debbie though. I think.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
hit it.
I think that there's a lot of girls back then who looked at her and thought, okay, she's not so pretty that I'm intimidated. And while Debbie can sing, it's not that powerful.
It's non-threatening.
It's non-threatening, and it's something I think that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that also added to the appeal. So this song would go on to win the Oscar, although I guess not Debbie for that. So this won an Oscar, this won also the Grammy for Best Song.
And what was it up against, for Christ's sake? I mean, it couldn't have been, like, that's the worst bit, is like, that was the best song?
I'll look it up while you're doing that. So
I think there's a lot of hatred for this song, not because the song itself is terrible, which it is terrible, but it's by far not the worst song we have covered. Like, this is not Having My Baby level bad. So I think a lot of the hatred for this song is that it stayed at the top for far too long and actually kept some really great songs out of number one.
That makes sense.
It was also, again, at that point, it just never, you couldn't escape it. It was just,
yeah. Well, I mean, Kirk, you were saying you heard it all the time. I'm right there with you on that. Yeah. It was always being played.
Let's see.
So what do we got? What was it up against?
And I got to go to a different thing here.
No worries.
I think Donna Summer.
Well, it tied. It tied for also was a co-winner with Barbra Streisand. Love theme from A Star Is Born.
Oh,
the original A Star Is Born. So basically, there were two movies with the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So this beat out. Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue? Brown eyes.
Yeah, well, I've always said, don't it make my brown eyes sore.
Yes.
That's why you have a bidet.
Nobody Does It Better, performed by Carly Simon, which was also what it beat out to win the Oscar. Southern Nights, Glenn Campbell, and Hotel California.
How did it beat Hotel California?
Because it wasn't on a dark desert highway.
Cool wind in my cool whip in my hair.
Warm smell of colitas rising up through the air.
Cool whip in my hair. Cool whip. Yes.
Cool whip. Why are you saying it like that?
Cool whip and a bear. Yeah, I've seen the misheard lyrics for this one, and it was brilliant.
So Debbie never had another hit. Never came close.
I don't know about you, but I'm okay with that.
I think she might be okay with that because she was content to pretty much go do Christian music after, which until, what was it, Amy Grant? I don't think there was anyone who ever made a lot of hits on that.
Hey man, I had a Petra album when I was a kid.
Oh God, I forgot all about them.
Petra, man. Yeah, it was like the oatmeal of rock, and they said God a lot.
Well,
the oatmeal of rock. Oh, I'm going to borrow that. I don't know why. I might use that for something else. But
it's free and public domain.
There you go. So yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I think that's sort of why it had appeal, just because it hit that group of people, that group of girls who identified with it on some level, and then as they got older, they didn't identify with it anymore, which might be why they're not holding this in high regard.
You know, and it's interesting because this whole song being light and airy and sung by a very white bread voice, I guess would be the best way of putting it. You know, something that, like you were saying before,
there's no soul, there's no feeling to it.
Something that, like Kirk was saying before, appeals to middle America. Mm-hmm. You know, you got all that. And then to have so much darkness in behind it is this weird juxtaposition.
It's fascinating, and this went so in a place I never thought it would. I will probably never hear this song again.
I hope not.
I haven't heard it in probably the 20 years leading up to this show. To this,
you may never get that recipe again.
Oh no!
Hey,
I still remember watching you guys do that.
Don't leave the cake in the rain. That's all I have to say.
Is this a problem for some people, though? I mean, was it something that they've ever done? I mean, I know about cooling pies and shit, but I don't know. I've never actually seen anyone do that. So are we done with this flaming turd?
Yeah, I think we can put it on in a paper bag and throw it on the neighbor's porch.
Yes. There we go. Brad, what do you got for us next week?
Oh, we're going to have a bit of fun because we went with this that got dark and weird and what have you. And I kind of figured we needed to switch it up a little bit, have a little fun with it, make it kind of colorful, almost like one would do with like a chameleon does.
Come a chameleon. Have we not done that?
No, we have not done Culture Club. No, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm down with culture. I like this song.
Yeah.
I actually.
All right.
Yeah, no,
it's pretty easy to tell how it went number one, but there's some story there, so I thought it would be kind of interesting.
Hey, it's because you come and go.
You come and go.
Yeah, man, go.
Loving would be easy if your colors were like my dreams.
Are you going to William Shatner this?
Red, gold, and green.
Red, gold, and green.
Have you heard William Shatner doing his cover of Common People?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. That's so good. If you, the listener, have not, go listen to Common People by William Shatner doing Pulp's remake of the Pulp song, because it's so good.
I'll close with my favorite Shatner story that you both know, but I'm sure the listeners don't. So my wife, who is not from Canada, is from Indonesia. When we started dating, I don't know how we started. Like, I talked about the origin of my name because I'm named after Captain Kirk. So Pauline, my wife, didn't know who that was because Star Trek might have been on in Indonesia, but she never watched it. So then I might have been the infancy of the internet. Then I said, okay, well, he's also in this, and this. And so she looks at me and says, why are you named after the Priceline guy? And so the point of this is, Shatner, hats off to you, literally, for your ability to reinvent yourself. Because
speaking of hats off and Star Trek, have you guys watched the new Star Trek,
no.
Strange New Worlds? Okay, well, you have to watch it just for Captain Pike's hair. It's bigger than it should be, and it's this weird thing that scares and confuses me.
Good to know. Hey, Kirk.
Yeah.
I heard you wrote a book.
What?
A book. Yes, I wrote a book about the late great Chavo Guerrero Sr. And it's his autobiography. I helped him write that before he passed away, and that's on Amazon. You can get that on Amazon. Chavo Guerrero Instant Classic.
Ooh.
Also, too, the Hall of Fame show. It's a regular show where I talk about Hall of Fame stuff, and sometimes I just go off the rails. Big shock there.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's not you at all.
No, not at all. Vinny Laspinuso is a regular guest, and he tells you about the Hall of Fame cases for people you've never heard of, but he always makes them fun. Okay, I make it fun, and then he makes it informative. So it's a.
I mean, I know you, so probably he makes it fun.
Tag team back again.
No, it's me. It's definitely me. The Classic Sports Review will come back soon. We're just cementing our guest, and same with this crap. This crap was on national.
But when are we doing the Oscars show? We should record that soon.
Soon. Although we do you want to jump in for Automan?
Automan. I
remember Automan.
Send me a link, and yeah.
Because that's what we decided to do next.
Oh,
maybe Brad wants to do Automan with you.
I might have to request an invite because you go back and you try to rewatch that and it does not hold up.
I've never seen it, so.
All right, you got to have Brad on with you for Automan.
Yeah, so that was awesome because that was a request. So I'm getting.
It's like Tron meets Transformers, and yet doesn't do a good job of it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. From really 2 minutes, I've already watched of it, and I have like 50 more to go. That's how hard it was for me to watch that. Well, I found it in French, the pilot. Tu es Automan?
Yeah. Le homme de Auto.
It reminds me too. I ever tell you about what that horny chicken said to the other horny chicken?
No, tell me what the horny chicken said to the other horny chicken.
Voulez-vous poulet avec moi ce soir?
Odd that a joke actually hurts your brain like an ice cream headache, yet you managed to hit that one right between the eyes.
Best joke ever, and it's a Kirk Buchner original. With that,
we're ending on a low note.
We are not.
Sorry, guys. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Using that at the bar tonight, I guarantee it. Just humor like this that landed me a red hot Asian wife, I'll tell you that. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, stay safe, everybody.